60 today.
Yeah, snow on that Wednesday. Sorry.
That's right. No, put your sweaters on yet.
I'm calling to order the special board meeting. Today is Monday, February the 3rd. Roll call, please.
Trustee Stolen Polk.
Present.
Trustee Hare. Trustee Knox.
Present.
Trustee Morris. Trustee Air present.
First item is Mr. Wambacher.
Thank you. I think it's appropriate that we get a motion from the board to appoint Kofi as our interim general manager. Contracts with the federal government, contracts with IDOT, various other items of business need to be executed by a general manager. And so in this case, since in effect, Kofi has been serving as our interim manager, we need to officially take action to name him so he has the legal authority to sign the various documents required. So I would ask that someone make a motion.
I motion
Okay.
Kofi Kissage be named interim general manager.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Wambacher, you're very popular.
Okay, so the next item is, since Kofi now has additional responsibilities as the interim general manager and adjustment in his present salary, the proposal is that he would receive on an annual basis an additional $6,150 to his present pay for serving in the interim manager position. As for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Roll call.
Trustee Stolen Polk.
Approved.
Trustee Hare. Trustee Knox.
Approve.
Trustee Morris. Approve. Trustee Hare approve.
Motion carries. Okay.
I just wanted to ask the board's collective opinion on how to handle the performance evaluations, and we are in that season once again. I can elaborate on that.
Please do.
Yes.
It's your suggestion and what you would.
So,
Professional opinion.
well, so not last time, several board meetings ago, I was told not to come back here this year without a merit-based evaluation process. So that's why all of that was put in place. Now we're at a position where Kofi has not been, I guess about 50% of the directors have not been reporting to Kofi in the last year. So he is not aware of, our progress, our goals, what the direction has been. And so I feel that him evaluating us at this time would be too soon and actually not fair to the people who have been working under the general manager for the previous general manager for the last year. So I just want to get your thoughts. I don't have a good suggestion because it doesn't satisfy what we need to do. So I guess my only suggestion that I could offer is at this point, we could do a cost of living to have an idea of what that will be, so that for budgeting purposes, we'll know what to budget for. And then come May, when we do our second year check-in, at that point, we could adjust that cost of living dependent upon, performance, because that would have allowed Kofi 6 months to observe us and also have, worked and understand what our goals and things are. So I guess that would be my suggestion. I know that it is not an ideal option.
Okay, I need a little clarification. So are you saying that you want us to approve a cost of living allowance now because they cannot be evaluated fairly?
Yes.
But you want them to be compensated?
Correct.
Okay. When are evaluations due? When are we supposed to do them?
So they're supposed to be in by February 7th, I believe.
Okay.
So that's this Friday. And it's kind of the initial one of the year where we do our goal setting. So where we set our goals, objectives, lives, and all that. So that would be a great opportunity for Kofi to sit with the directors that weren't previously reporting to him and come up with a path forward. And also then when May gets here, that would have allowed, 4, 5, 6 months, 5 months to be able to evaluate. So I guess what I'm saying is we have to know, we should know now what the cost of living or whatever that increase number will be so that we can budget, because I think finance starts their next fiscal year budget planning in March. So it would allow us a baseline and then we adjust it when the time comes.
I have a clarification.
Okay.
So what you're really, just so kind of for the record, what you're really talking about is the evaluation of the directors.
Yeah.
Presumably the directors have evaluated other management employees under them.
Yeah.
And those people will be
Appropriately.
appropriately treated as far as their evaluations and the compensation and all that, plus or minus, correct? So it's just the directors we're really talking about that need
Yeah.
this in-between situation.
Do you know how many people we're talking about?
Depends on how we want to handle it. So if we did that for the whole director team so that everybody is kind of treated the same way, it would be, I think we have 11 directors. If not, if we just want to do the group that wasn't reporting to Kofi, because there was a portion that was reporting to him that he could definitely evaluate them on. So if we wanted to do that, then I would say 6. Is that about right? I think that's about 6.
What's the cost of living? Is it 3%? Is that kind of what they're looking at?
So I'd have to look at that. And the reason I say that, yes, generally 3% is what it is. It's also appropriate for this labor market because things have started to settle down. So yes, so if we want to do it that way, we can just set a standard. Or if we wanted to handle it another way, we could just say, this is the max for this group, and you assign that out based on merit or performance when, May gets here. So, I don't know.
So, okay, so February 7th would be when everyone should have gotten an evaluation. So we're missing February 7th, that's obvious. So they wouldn't be evaluated again until February 7th of 2026.
No, we would do a mid-year check-in, and they were supposed to be completed by the end of May.
Okay.
The problem with waiting until the end of May is that the budget has already been done for the next fiscal year. So we just need a baseline, basically. It doesn't mean that that's necessarily what anybody's going to receive at that time, but just something that we can budget for.
Gentlemen?
I would
Opinions?
be all right with doing the 3% with the 6 and letting Kofi evaluate the ones that were assigned to him or that answered to him. But I'm just one person, so I mean, I don't think punish everybody because our general manager and Kofi hasn't been in that position very long, but he still worked with these people for majority of the year. Let him evaluate those people, and then we'll do the 3% for the 6 or whatever it is until May, and they can be reevaluated by that point.
So the only thing I would say to that, which I agree with, but the scale is 0% to 5% for that for merit based. And if we're just going to say 3% for the other 6, then there's a disparity there. So doesn't mean we can't do that.
So I guess I strongly disagree with cost of living based. This is pay for performance.
I understand.
So, and Kofi is a former assistant general manager, still had interaction with the other director staff. He's supposed to be the number 2 person anyway, even if the people did not directly report to him. So organizational change happens at every company like this. And everybody doesn't just go change their cycle because there was new management or changes. Same thing Bill brought up. Okay, what about all those similar changes that happen downstream? We're not making all those exceptions for people at the manager and supervisor and below level either, right? So we should maintain consistency with that across the whole workforce.
But
So-
how is it consistent if he doesn't know the goals set for us, right? Like if he doesn't know our progress, if he doesn't know our accomplishments, how is that fair to the employee? I mean, how is that fair to me, or how is it fair to the finance department when that's not an area that he was involved in at all?
Is there no documentation of anything?
No. That would be on the
Yeah.
general manager to have.
I have a question about if we don't hit this February 7th deadline Friday, can we push it a week or do we have to wait? I don't know.
No, we can push it out. It can be March if we want to. It can be, it's up to us.
And if I may ask, I'm assuming you also do self-evaluations, right?
No, we do not do self-evaluations. We could, that could be an option this round. We
Yeah,
could have
that's-
people do self-evaluations,
Yes.
but that wasn't what we received the last round that we did that.
And
Um,
forgive me,
Dan,
sorry. When does the budget, when does the budget?
I believe they start planning in March.
Okay.
So
The budget has a fiscal year end, so it runs
Okay.
from July 1st to June
Got
30th.
it, got it.
But the planning
But they
has to
start
be in
doing it
advance because we have
First
to
part
do
of
all the
March, so,
receipts.
okay.
yeah,
Well, I kind of agree. I mean, Kofi has not had an op, and I agree with you in a sense, Don, that he's been second in command, but has he been directly involved with all the other directors? That's, I guess, where I'm at with everything.
To that, I would say yes to some extent. So let's say with Brad Facilities and Maintenance, I work closely with him because we are on the capital projects team. So whatever is going on Brad's end, I'm aware of that one. Same with IT. So those are two that don't report to me directly, but I work with them. With finance, I sit on the finance committee meeting. So that one too, yeah. So maybe it's only Paige that I don't, I deal with her, but not along those lines, yeah. But all the others, there is something that I do with them, which puts me in the position to make an assessment of how things are going or projections or all those things, yeah.
So with the finance department though, they have had a whole year's worth of cleanup to do back there. And they have been doing more than just maintaining where they're at. And I just feel that without having that background or the scope of what they have been doing, it's a limited scope that you would have.
let me say this. When, in my past experiences of evaluating people, when you sit down for that conversation, it is a truly two-way conversation. So my question is, when that director sits down with Kofi, is that director not going to say, here are my goals, here is what I've done?
That's what they're supposed to do. That's the intention of it, absolutely. And that's something that we can do. The problem is that some people don't keep track of their accomplishments over the last year. And when someone sits down to do an evaluation, if you don't have that prior background, then you're just thinking about the present. What's happening to that today? How are we, how are they doing today? And so I just feel like from a personnel standpoint, that it's unfair.
Well,
My thing is, if you are an employee and you have not documented what you have done, then you don't need to be rewarded just because you were there every day. Now, that's my own personal opinion. I feel like, Kofi, what did you think? Let me get your opinion on how you feel about evaluating all of the directors.
Um,
Where's your comfort level?
For those that I have worked with or those who report directly to me, I would say that I have an in-depth expectation where they are, and because we have weekly meetings, so keeping on top of whatever they are doing is not waiting till evaluation time. Those who don't report directly to me, like the example of Brad, of those who don't report directly to me, he's the one that I work very close with. Weekly on capital projects and all of those things. So I'm very much aware of what is going on in his department. Same as with Chris, IT. Finance, what Paige just said, that they've had a lot of cleanup to do. I agree with her on that one. So that is something that my one-on-one meetings with Colleen would put me up to where they are now. That whole thing. And I have a plan to figure out where are we going to.
So I have a one-on-one meeting with you as well.
Yes, yes.
Okay, gentlemen, my thought is to let Kofi do that.
I agree. I just think that then we're setting up multiple. So again, if we do that exception at the director level, every other person below can say, well, I only had this person as a boss for 2 months. Why are they doing my evaluation? Just give me the same thing that everyone else is getting. It sets up a class system that looks like we're giving an exception to the top level management that everyone else is not getting. Also, this is typical business stuff. There has to be some kind of turnover. We can't go make a bunch of different exceptions. And if we just made the man interim general manager to make, I think those are higher level decisions that go on besides just this. So why would we say, okay, well, Kofi, you can't do this, but we just gave you the power to do all this other stuff? It doesn't make sense.
Well, I wanted to get your feedback as a collective board so that we weren't making assumptions. So I appreciate the feedback.
So do we need a motion? Do we need to, how do we do this?
Well, I appreciate Paige coming and having the discussion, but is there a motion? Is there something we're supposed to vote on? I mean, that's the board trying to manage operations within the organization. I want to hear what Paige has to say. Thank you. But I don't even think what do we need to vote on? Okay.
So I don't know how else to communicate with you guys outside of a public forum.
Oh, no, I'm not saying don't communicate with us, but I'm asking, what are we, so there's no resolution, right?
No, there's not.
So there's nothing for us to vote on. This is just us giving our advice. Yeah, thank you. We like the communication.
Thank you. Okay, our last item. Kofi.
So for the last item, we are seeking a motion from the board to approve our new union general labor contract. This came before the board at the last meeting, and there were issues raised that the whole item was not being presented. So at this point, we have the full contract and requesting for a motion to approve this contract.
Before I ask for a motion, my first question is this kind of like a new point? If you guys have already taken, I'm assuming Mr. Wambacher and John, you already
And
took,
Paige
and Paige took
and
this,
Kofi.
okay, took this to the union and had it voted on. We don't have a say one way or the other at this point. I mean, if there was something in there we truly didn't like, they ratified it. So to me, we're kind of doing this backwards. I'm guessing you've always done it this way, but that doesn't mean that it's correct.
Well, when you have labor negotiations, the district has representatives on its behalf who under the law have the responsibility to negotiate with the union. The union under the law has representatives that negotiate on their behalf. And so we work together to reach a tentative agreement. And once a tentative agreement is reached, then the union members vote on it, and the board itself has to vote approving the contract for it to be legally binding. So this is a standard practice. We have had discussions. We had discussions during the middle of the negotiations. I came during an executive session and explained some of the issues that were going on and what was involved or whatever. And I do believe that the contract is a good one. We got a number of things in the contract that we've never had before that are important. And so it is a good contract, and it is in the best interest of the district to approve the contract. So That's how I see it. You need to take legal action in order to approve the contract. The board itself does not negotiate the contract because you're not the designated representatives. You designate representatives. In this case, it's the manager, generally myself, other staff people that are involved in the actual negotiation. I've never seen a public body that was personally involved in the negotiation of a
No,
labor contract.
That wasn't what I was saying.
Sure.
What I was saying is, once you come up with that contract, why doesn't the board see it before you send it to the union for ratification? I mean, is that just not ever done? I mean, because
No.
what what you're saying is, we're just trusting you to do the right thing.
You are trusting us to do the right thing.
Okay.
Okay. But what generally happens is that the union will first vote on the contract, because if it's not acceptable to the union, we're not going anywhere. So that's one of the situations. When we reached agreement or got to the end, I did send an email to the board members kind of outlining where we were on the contract and how it came out. At that point, once you reach a tentative agreement, you really can't, when you're bargaining in good faith, go back and then try and do regressive negotiation where you go back again and go, oh, wait a second, we can't agree to this, we can't agree to that, or whatever. So it's a progressive system of negotiation, and that's kind of important to understand. I guess I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what role the board would like to play in a negotiation.
I'm not trying to change
Right.
protocol. I was just asking why, okay, we get it at the end. We're the final. We
Correct.
have not seen this prior to necessarily you guys bringing it to us. I mean, you sent us a little bit back and forth as to what was actually going on, but the actual document we don't see until after it has been voted on. And I understand that we can't go back. That's why I said it's probably a moot point, because by the time you bring it to us, it's already been ratified by the union. We really have no input at all. So that's my only concern.
Right. The board's input should be before the contract, before the negotiations begin. And so we do take information as to management concerns about, ask different managers within the facility about what concerns they have with the contract, what things they would like to see, what changes they would like to see, what goals or whatever as far as the negotiation. And I believe we've received information at different times from board members about what their concerns are. And we try and address all of those things to the negotiating team to the best of our ability, but it is a two-way street. It's not as if we can dictate to the union.
Oh, absolutely. That's not even
So,
what I'm talking about.
yeah.
But it's fine. May I have a motion to approve, please? Or, I'm sorry, is there more discussion, gentlemen? Don?
No, I don't believe, I understand your point is all, and I think that was getting a little bit lost in Mr. Wambacher's answer.
Right.
I think the point just was, hey, we know there's a process, but is this everyone's first time on the current board going through this process?
It is mine.
Mine too. So I don't think we understood or were well informed along the way in order to give those proper types of feedback. And at this point, it's already a done deal. So we're approving something that's already been signed. Whereas understanding the process better and making sure that proper feedback from the board was taken into consideration during negotiation process, I think we need to capture that in these notes for the whoever's on the board next time this happens, because that gives the board an opportunity to also formally provide input and feedback.
Thank you, Don. Motion, please, unless there's more discussion.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
A second.
roll call, please.
Trustee Stoltenfeld,
Approve.
trustee Hare, trustee Knox,
Approve.
trustee Morris, trustee Hare, approve.
Thank you all. We're getting ready to go into executive session.
We're gonna need a motion to go out. Negative.
Stay or go?
He's calling me.
Probably not. Probably best to go at this point.
What's up?
May I have a motion to go
okay.
into
You
executive
read-
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
We're now moving into executive.
We need to stop.
session.
I say we need to get, we need Chris up here. to- There he is, yep.